bunch of at-risk youths. He gave some money and a Fanta to go do it for him.
Shut up, Joel, and welcome to the weekly poll! Actually, we're going to try something new. Joel, how are you doing today? Would you care to join us on the weekly poll, my dear friend?
I'm not used to positive reinforcement. This feels strange and odd.
Amazing today. Have you lost some weight? You've been combing up the goatee. I really enjoy this.
Combing up the goatee.
It's super scraggly, and that's a lie about losing weight. It was so much easier when you were mean to me. I am equally as distrustful about positive reinforcement as I am negative reinforcement.
Your current tracksuit looks really good on you. I love the way you have the white shirt with the Bullet Club, the coffee thing. Yes, my dear friend.
It's a hoodie. It's a hoodie. But thank you.
Hoodie thing.
I like everyone saying, it's a trap! Run, Joel! Run!
Oh, man, I have some awesome bathrobes I could start wearing, but, that sends a wrong message, I think.
I think that your image would be complete with some gold chains, my friend. I think you would look stellar. Oh, there it is.
I am wearing a gold chain. It was a communion present.
Yeah, Joel's balling over here like DJ Joel. Dropping them fat beats.
Dropping the fat beats like that subscription we just got from Blockbuster. The video company.
Hey,
wow.
They're sorry you're dead.
Blockbuster has no money, but they decided to give what little money they have to us. Thank you, Blockbuster. I really wish you guys had bought Netflix, but you didn't.
Oops, I bet you do.
All right, guys. So let's hit with our first topic of the day. The one that Tevye didn't ask.
First topic of the day, Benny.
The first topic of the day is not the one that Tevye asked about, because now I'm making a wait for our opinions on Bendis. Today's topic is Zack Synder was apparently actually fired off the Justice League. He did not step down.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
That sounds about right.
I mean, I'm not shocked.
Surprising no one, Zack Synder was asked to leave. I think it actually goes further back. I think, after BVS, they started, drafting up their exit clauses and were like, hey, yo, man, you gotta go.
How do we get him to leave in the nicest way possible? You're fired, man.
Yeah.
Out of here.
Get out.
I imagine it being like the scene from Scrooged when he terminated, when he fired what's his name?
Bobcat Goldthwait?
Yeah, Bobcat. That's who it was. I can never remember who it is.
Nice.
I mean, honestly, I find this to be kind of funny in the fact that everyone theorized he was going to be fired. That was the theory as to what was going on. WB's we're cleaning up the act, and the one movie he didn't have anything to do with is the biggest selling movie of the franchise.
Yeah.
There was way too many signs pointing towards that. But then, of course, the family incident happened, so it seemed like it made sense for him to step down at that time.
Yeah.
I mean, that kind of works. I mean, I could easily see them going in and say, hey, look, man, we know you have this family crisis. Look, just, we're letting you go, but you say it's because of a family issue. We'll say it's because of a family issue. Yeah. Nobody will ask any questions. Everybody will just say, "Oh yeah, that we understand that. We grasp that." It'll be swept under the rug, and that'll be the end of that. And then some dignity who got yelled at for getting him the bad kind of coffee, getting him the wrong coffee order, decided to leak the whole thing to the press. So
is that or an editor? I heard it was an editor, but we could all be hearing conflicting things now.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, here's my question though. Okay, and your opinion on the Zack Synder thing. Do you think that this was he's burning the bridges as he goes situation? I'm not leaving, you can't make me. Or do you think this was kind of Zack, your movies aren't doing so well, Zack. I think it may be time for you to separate from the family just a little, Zack. I think it may be time for you to step away from the WB fam and you go spend time with your fam because your fam needs you, Zack. And Zack Snyder's sitting here and he's like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I got a dark and gritty Superman tale I want to do for number 2. And then they're sitting there
is he Danny DeVito now?
Yeah. He's like, I got dark and gritty. I got a dark and gritty. And they're like, Zack, I don't know. The audience doesn't seem to want dark and gritty. Did you not see? What was the Martha thing? Whose idea was the Martha? Zack, do you think you were the first guy to realize that both their names were Martha? Do you think you just told the world that both their names are Martha? Zack, I think it's time for you to step down, my friend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
why did you say that name?
Yeah. I can't wait until that's totally dead, until no one does that anymore.
That will never be dead.
It gives you a little acid reflex, doesn't it? Every time.
It really does. It's as grating as Jar Jar at this point. To hear more.
Dude, I think it's hilarious. Why did you say that name? Because that's my mom's name. That's my mom's name.
Let's be friends. Let's be super friends now.
It was so fake. No, I'm not going to talk about BVS. The point is, I think...
Why not? This is the show where you can talk about BVS.
Yeah. All right. No one who is being murdered would say to save their mom and call their mom by their first name. No one.
Save Martha!
No. Would never say that. He'd be like, save mom, save her. He would not say save
Could you
Martha.
picture Henry Cavill on the ground? Save mommy!
Yeah.
I mean, like,
at that point, I could.
There was never going to be a position where he was going to say anything else because you know that this was all the way at the beginning. This was a script. Like, that was when they broke the script. They were like, we nailed it. We got it. They have the same mom name, and it's going to make Batman lose his fucking mind because he has PTSD. And, like, by the way, we have members of our own audience who are like, that shit hit me home. Because, like, there are keywords that blow my, like, that make me, like, triggered and blah, blah, blah. And, like, and I appreciate that. It was just lazy screenwriting, and it was so stupid.
It was a lazy way for them to come together.
It was just, instead of just speaking reasonably, all he has to do is be like, Bruce, Lex Luthor has my mom, we gotta stop him, or he wants me to kill you, it's really dumb. And then Batman's like, oh yeah, well, I'll shoot you with all my guns. I'm impervious to those.
Right.
Instead of just, because like literally he pushes him as far away from himself as he can. And I'm like, if you're trying to talk to this guy, knocking him 20 yards is not going to make it any better. He's already freaking out.
To me!
No, I mean, the fact is, I think Warner Brothers didn't even want to get involved. They were just happy that Zack Snyder, and I think his wife also was like a producer on these movies.
Yes, she was a lot of pull.
It was a regular family outfit going on. Like, I think that like the Snyders were happy to like get a paycheck and be involved in like every damn facet of this universe, because like the more ingrained they get, the harder it is to throw them out. And I think Warner Brothers is more than happy to be like, let him do it. Remember when he made Watchmen and he took the comic and he made it happen on the screen? We gave him the money. He kept his head down and he made this movie. That's what he does.
Yeah, he did the thing with the cameras and the actors and the things and the music, and then we got the movie.
And then the movie came out and we all just saw it. Like, they're done. Like, just let him do it. And then I am 100% in belief that at this point Warner Brothers leaked the fact that Snyder was fired because they've been inundated by people asking for the Zack Snyder cut.
Oh, that's become really annoying.
That Zack Snyder cut bullshit. And if you're one of the people in the audience that thinks, number one, that there is a Zack Snyder cut, then you don't know how this whole thing went down. Secondly, why would a Zack Snyder cut ever come out with the flack they got for Zack Snyder?
Oh, yeah.
DC tweeted out a video that I did with them, and there was a response tagging me, Benny, sign this petition for the Zack Snyder cut. Fuck the Zack Snyder cut. Yeah. Because Zack Snyder butchered all those goddamn movies. I agree, the Junkie XL soundtrack may have been good, but you know what? That's a part of business. That's the end of it. Fuck the Zack Snyder. And if you look at the petition, almost no one even signed it.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you get enough signatures, then like they can't ignore it because
You know what? And let me just throw this out there for you guys real quick. Let me just throw this out there for the next like activists for a comic book front. Change.org doesn't do anything.
No. Never has, never will.
If you want a comic, if you want something changed in industry, if you want the Zack Snyder cut, Change.org is nothing. Because it's people sitting at a computer signing a petition. No company. I even looked into this after the Zack Snyder cut, and I was going to go on a rant on my channel, but fuck it, I'm doing it here. I looked into, has Change.org, has any of those petitions actually been the crutch that changed something? And none of them have. There have been things that, like, there was a petition and they changed things, but the petition was not the reason. Like,
no. It's barely even a visualization of the problem. The only thing that Change.org petitions do is get your name onto like robocalls and like spam email.
Yes.
Oh, y'all.
Because you're associating your email address with your full name. Like, it's just not going to happen.
If you legitimately want to be an activist against something, be it a Zack Snyder cut or whatever other stupid thing Change.org is doing this week, you go out there and you become an activist. You don't sit at your computer and go, Benny Potter agrees with the Zack Snyder cut.
Right. Oh, shit.
I've done my part.
Because I definitely am, like, as a Warner Brothers executive, what I do with my time, because I have so much of it, is I look at petitions and I read every name on them.
Oh, yeah.
Like, No. What you do is if you even if you don't want to be an activist but you still want to make your voice heard, don't spend your money on the things that you don't like.
Eureka.
Like, you want a book to come out? Write an email that's like to a creator that says, I want this book, buy the book, sell out of the trades, show them that you want this thing, don't buy the Justice League Blu-ray, but use your money.
Yeah.
That's the real way to change anything.
Frost W18 says the Star Wars 8 petition to pull it from canon. You want to get a movie pulled from canon? You don't buy it. You don't buy the merch. You don't buy nothing. And that's how you... these people don't listen to change.org or people going crazy on Twitter. They listen to the money. If there's no money, they don't do it. That's the end of it. Right. Hence why we don't have half the movies we want, because they don't think there's money.
No.
That's right. Yeah, if you wanted to see if you want to see more Green Lantern movies, you should have gone to see the Ryan Reynolds one.
Yes.
Because even though it sucked,
yeah, it did.
It made, I think they spent almost $300 million on that movie, which is
they spent so much on it, they refused to say how much money they spent on it, and they asked for more halfway into production.
Yeah. But it made it on paper made its money back, because it was it cost $275 million. No, $250 million, but it made $275. That's not enough. No. But it needs to blow the numbers out of the water. It needs to at least double what it made. Plus, studios like Warner Brothers, they're looking at they're even if they are not in the same league or in the same place time wise, Warner Brothers is looking at Avengers. They're looking at Avengers numbers. Yep. So Warner Brothers is when they make a movie, they're I want to make Iron Man 3 numbers. I want to make Avengers numbers. They're thinking about $1 billion. They're thinking about $2 billion. When BVS didn't break $1 billion, Warner Brothers immediately stopped giving a shit about DC movies.
Clearly.
That's the end of it, because it just didn't make the money that it should have, based on what they interpret superhero franchises to be able to make money off of. And so Zack Snyder being fired, it was a step in the right direction. You're 2 movies too late.
Mm.
Well, that's basically it.
What Sal said.
I find the whole Snyder Cut business and all the clamoring for it too especially distressing, because I'm please don't let this become the comic community's answer to the birther movement, where it's it's not real, guys. You're clamoring for a thing that's not real.
Right. It's vaporware. As much as we like to give crap to Comic Book Girl 19, I will say she put out a tweet for the Women's March. But in her tweet, she said, take it for a grain of salt, because I couldn't get off my ass, and all I did was tweet this.
At least she's self-aware.
At least she's self-aware that because she was making fun of the signs that the Women's March were holding up, stating that the markers were too small and they should have made them broader. But she straight up said, "I'm sitting out. This is coming from a woman who didn't even go to the Women's March."
Right.
No,
it's true. You go to these marches if you care.
Yeah. Could you imagine the Zack Snyder cut march?
They had that. They actually did have that. You didn't hear about that?
No,
of course not.
Was it in Canada? 3 people?
No. Seriously, search this. I'm not making this shit. People actually dressed up in costumes and went to the Warner Brothers offices with signs saying "Release the Snyder Cut."
I did see that, but I heard it wasn't a huge thing. It was just 3 people from what I know. I'm looking right now.
It wasn't, but they had a march and they took pictures, so it was real.
More? Oh, it was a dozen apparently.
Oh, a baker's dozen.
The fact that people were mobilized enough to go to, I don't even know where
that I at least applaud them for making a big attempt at it.
Right. It's just it. You need to have Rob would definitely back me up on this, because he's made videos about it. But you need to have a degree of self-awareness to be able to say to be able to project where you're going to be, and how much effort, time, money, and so forth are spent in pursuit of this thing. And you think to yourself, okay, let's say I live in Wichita, and I really, 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 really like Miserable Superman, and I want to get that dark Snyder cut out. I got to go to Warner Brothers. That's going to be what, $400 round trip ticket, and then I got to stay in LA. That's another $200-$300. I'm only going to be there the weekend. Or I could think about how me being there will not change anything or do anything. And if I actually Googled it and looked up how much effort and time was put into Justice League Snyder versus Whedon, there really isn't enough movie that Snyder made for there to be a Snyder cut in the first place.
Right.
So really, like what I'm asking for doesn't even exist, nor could they even deliver it if they wanted to.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly right.
Why should I even do that? And I should save my $800 and just sit on it.
See, that's the thing that blows my mind. If you read all the reports, there was no Snyder movie that they changed as a Whedon movie. There was Snyder had to step down. Whedon finished the movie.
Yes.
So that means the Snyder movie is like 3/4 of a movie. You don't have a movie. So Warner Brothers would have to pay Snyder to come back and do his own reshoots and re-edit the video and the movie and re-edit the orchestra and get Junkie XL back on board. Like, this is not just we have it over here on Blu-ray and we're just not releasing it. This
it's
is
not a tiny feat.
Yeah, it's apples and oranges. Like, compare this to Fox sitting on the 4K release of A New Hope, right? Star Wars A New Hope. We know there is an original cut of A New Hope with like no special effects in it because we've seen it and they made laser discs and DVDs of them. Them not releasing that is them choosing not to spend the money and time and effort. And by the way, there's an argument against that too. But at least there's a thing that you can prove. It's like asking for like the Blu-ray release of Fantastic Four by Roger Corman. There is a movie. We can prove it exists.
As Nimrod Canada says, Fox sitting on the holiday special of Star Wars.
Why not?
Yeah, but like nobody wants a 4K Star Wars holiday special with
Could
Chewbacca's
you
family.
That in 4K.
It's free on YouTube. Look it up.
The bootleg is part of the charm. You get all those commercials in there.
It's the worst thing ever. I force myself to watch it every Christmas, and I hate myself because there's 9.5 minutes of straight up no dialogue, just Wookiee sounds. 9.5 minutes.
Dude, it would be straight up, dude. Like that would go Sharknado. They would release that, and people like all the hipsters would be like, "Oh, it's like the greatest thing ever," And they'd watch the hell out of it. It would just explode, and they would be like, "I guess we have to make more holiday specials now."
Like, you know what? Before that happens, go out and buy yourself DVD copies of Ewoks: The Great Ewok Adventure.
Dude,
and
I
Ewoks
loved that movie when I was a kid.
Caravan of
So did I. Oh no,
as a kid, those movies are the greatest movies ever. I remember my dad showing me the Star Wars trilogy, like the 4, 5, and 6, and being like, "This is amazing." And then my dad's like, "Look at the Ewok movies," and I'm like, "Can we watch them again? Can we watch them again?"
Yeah, no. When finding out there were Ewok movies, because my parents were not nerds, they did not give a shit. I found it at a video store. I'm like, no, there's more Star Wars. And like, listen, they don't hold up great. But Wilford
I love how the Ewok movies is their own timeline, and it doesn't even keep track.
They do get it doesn't make any sense because Wicket speaks English in those movies. But it does. I think it takes place. I think the Wilford Brimley one at least takes place after Return of the Jedi. I don't remember. It does.
Oh, the diabetes guy. I'm here with the Ewoks.
The point
is, have diabetes.
Arguing for a movie. You need to do your research. Really, like it's whenever anybody says in like the comments, and we all can relate to this, where someone says something like, you're wrong because, and then they state like something about like either like the industry or about like the movies or about some casting decision, like it's fact, and the reason why your opinion is wrong is because of this thing. My response is always link, because they usually hear it from like an armchair YouTuber, and that is really just an opinion that they've couched into fact because they say it definitively. And then, like, the further along you go, the more you're like, oh, actually, there's no source to any of this information. It's like a 4chan rumor. Like, you need to, if you want to like feel like an authority, or if you want to be an authority out there, you got to do your research. You got to look into this. Literally, it takes 20 seconds. So just, is this real?
See, that's why I don't do very many like news and like opinion pieces on my channel, because I don't want to take that 20 seconds. But at least I know I don't.
I mean, that's not necessarily true. Like, you don't really have to go with facts. Like, I make up shit on my channel all the time. Like I have a video.
Mods, I want that clipped. I'm posting that all over Twitter.
I'm just saying, I have a video coming out about Eric Killmonger, and like I just made all that shit up. And I was like, whatever. I was like, Eric Killmonger was made by like, Superman. And he first appeared in Batman comics number, 21. And then I just say stuff, and I mention Black Panther a few times, and then like people will believe it, and
the money rolls in.
Yeah, and I'm like, thanks for watching, guys, peace, and then that's it.
Having spoken to you and hang out with you frequently, Rob, I believe that.
Yeah. I'm pretty good when it comes to just making up facts.
Right.
Yeah. Because I say them so forcefully, and people believe them. Like, yeah, man, that's true. And I'm like, yeah, that's true.
We'll move on to the next document. But I was talking to Mark about this yesterday because he was watching some YouTuber on something, and I was talking to him like, I used to watch this guy, but his speech patterns got on my nerves because I did public speaking, so I can catch a lot of the speech patterns someone will do, such as reaffirming what you're stating. You know, like basically, Sal, this is why I think the Zack Snyder cut should be gone. This is why. You know, like you're reaffirming what you're saying, stuff like that. The pauses you'll do in between sentences where you're like, yeah, that's a nervous tick. That's your brain searching for the next moment to look for, and things along that line. And one thing that I said, Rob, was if you can remove all your nervous ticks in your speech patterns, such as and whatever, and you say what you're saying definitively, you could be talking out your ass, and about 80% of the people will 100% believe you. And the fact is, I just made up those percentages because 99% of percentages are completely false, but they're said with such a definitive amount of authority, you believe it.
Yeah. No, if I told you, like if I definitively sat down and I told you, in Black Panther Volume 3, when Christopher Priest took over, the whole idea of Christopher Priest was to take the Black Panther mythos and return it to its roots, back to the way that, I can't remember what his name is, the guy who originally did Jungle Tales. It was the first graphic novel. Yeah, Don McGregor. The way that Don McGregor did it, where he focused on the nature of Black Panther. But the whole idea of Christopher Priest was to turn Eric Killmonger to a guy who basically derived his powers from one of the gods that existed inside of Wakanda. It wasn't the Panther god, it was a crocodile god. That's where he grabbed his powers from. And he literally became one of the crocodile, like the last of the crocodile gods, fought against Black Panther, decided to take his place. I could just talk like that in a video, and people will be like, great video, Rob, and it's like
you sound very authoritative.
Yeah. It's lies, and it's not true, but yeah, it is kind of weird.
That's why I try not to do things that require research, because I don't want to. No,
it's a lot of work.
It's like speaking of Eric Killmonger for a second.
No.
What do you mean no?
More Eric Killmonger? Who cares about this character?
In the defense of Sal, who the fuck is Eric Killmonger?
Well, he's the bad guy in the Black Panther movie, apparently, but really the main bad guy's gonna be Claw.
Yeah, and no one cares about Eric Killmonger, Rob.
He's the most important Black Panther. He was okay. The reason why Eric Killmonger is so important.
But Black Panther doesn't matter. That's why no one buys the books.
Oh, there you go, Benny. See, Benny didn't have a problem.
That's a clip.
Yeah, he doesn't have a problem with Captain America. He doesn't have a problem with Iron Man. He doesn't have a problem with the white superheroes. But you give Black Panther a movie, well, then suddenly it becomes.
I never said don't give him a movie. They gave the Guardians of the Galaxy a movie. They mattered even less than Black Panther. I said Black Panther's books don't sell, hence why it's constantly canceled.
Just let me backpedal a little bit.
No, I did not say the movie. I said the books don't sell. And that is proven by the fact, name a Black Panther run that has actually survived multiple years without being canceled and brought back.
Christopher Priest run.
Yeah, Christopher Priest run. The Reginald Hudlin run, if you count the 12 issues and then the 41 issues.
But he's a superhero that sells the issues when he has a good writer. He can't survive with a bad writer.
That's every comic book.
That's not Batman.
Or Spider-Man for long.
Or Spider-Man.
Really quick. We should, by the way, just because no one else is saying it, Black Panther is going to open crazy huge this weekend.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be nuts.
And there is no Black Panther book right now.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah,
is there?
I thought the Coach book was still going. I just did 2 videos for those.
I thought they switched it. I thought it was canceled already.
No. You
got
Black Panther and the crew that they canceled,
Oh,
and
yeah.
Wakanda that they canceled.
Thank you. Okay.
No,
They
you
canceled the spin-offs.
You have Black Panther, Rise of the King. You got a bunch of miniseries going on.
Okay. Because you need a main. There needs to be a main Black Panther book out right now because you have a huge amount of people who are going to see this movie who might have never gone to a comic book store before and would go and buy a comic book for the first time. Let's do this.
Oh yeah, Sal. Black Panther. The I can't never pronounce his name. Rob.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Ta-Nehisi Coates.
Okay.
Yeah. The pre-orders are here for the next 4 issues. It's definitely not. It's still going. Okay. We're fine.
Good.
Because I just did videos for volume 2 and 3 of his run. So
yeah, no, they're not. That would be some shit, man. Cancel the Black Panther run. Before the movie comes out.
I thought it was an oversight that there was just this period where there was a missing gap of Black Panther books. I'm like, what are you doing?
No, you know what the irony of that is? That's something Marvel would do.
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
That's the worst thing about it.
by
Didn't
the
they
way,
cancel like a
true.
bunch of the X-Men books to spite Fox during the movie or something?
Oh,
like
of course they did.
Yep.
Exactly what it was.
That's a clip right there. Like, you know what? With authority, there is no Black Panther book coming out right now, and there is a Black Panther movie. Did you know that?
There are no Black Panther books. All you have is the miniseries books. Marvel's been talking about making a new Black Panther book, and they've been trying to make it interesting for a little while, but he hasn't had one for really before All New Order for Marvel. Like, his biggest role was when he was in Hickman's
Secret
Avengers and New
Wars.
Avengers. Yeah, in Secret Wars. When he got the Infinity Gauntlet like a boss.
That
Dude,
commanded, I loved it when he commanded the Marvel zombies.
Oh, the army of the dead.
Oh,
I am the king of the dead.
Yeah, Sal brought that up, and I didn't even think about that because it was like we had a podcast back when that issue dropped. And it was like I think it was when we were doing it on Thursdays, or maybe it was the Tuesday after. But it was like I was like, man, I don't really grasp that. And he was like, no, remember Black Panther's the king of the dead. And I was like, oh, that's right.
Isn't it really frustrating that we are still talking about how awesome Secret Wars was? It's 3 years old.
Yeah.
but it was-
So I will say this. So because I couldn't find a Black Panther book to do a video on because my problem with Black Panther has always been it's been too political or he gets turned into Batman basically. Like they don't give him like a good Black Panther story. I will
you
say
mean
this
like
because
when he
Rob
went to
was
Hell's
raving
Kitchen?
about the Tallahassee.
Ah, yeah, Man Without
the
Fear.
Coates book. You were raving
Yeah.
about it?
Tahasi Coates book.
Yeah, I will say because I didn't like it, but now that it's got multiple volumes and I've read it as one cohestent story.
Bagora.
Now that I've read it as a consistent story, like one big thing, it is really good. That plot, that political crap. When I'm reading 50 comic books a week, I cannot read in segments. I figured that out.
But okay, but here's the irony of Ta-Nehisi Coates' run. Like, basically, it's dealing with the aftermath of the death of Shuri and her doing her whole thing, and then like a civil, like an attempt to basically take over Wakanda from like that whole group. But like that's what Christopher Priest did.
Yeah.
With like Reverend Akibi. So
See, I can't read Christopher Priest's writing most of the time, and I've said that. I've said I can't read the way he
his
writes.
writing can be a little weird.
I think he
Big
would.
fan.
What about Doom War? That's a solid.
That is another good
story.
one.
Just
That is an amazing. That's a Reginald Hudlin book, though. I thought.
no. I think that's Chris Priest.
Is
Here,
it?
I think I have it written down because I'm also doing a video on all of these.
Because we did Hudlin's first volume, and I
Who
think
is?
it's I don't even know what the hell it is. Like,
Who's Black Panther? Yeah.
who is Black Panther? Which I think is like it's a weirdo retcon, but like,
Yes, it is.
yeah, but Doom War, I think Chris Priest did that. The chat will correct us one way or the other.
I don't remember.
Let me
I've
clarify,
also-
because some people are asking what I mean by political. But my big problem with Black Panther is this: either it is like strictly a political book, which is fine, but I'm not a huge fan of those
Because
books.
he's a king and a
Right,
politician.
he's a king. And it makes sense for him to do that. But I feel like the problem with Black Panther is they go too far in that direction. And if they're doing a thing where like, well, we can't be political, we got to make him a superhero. They throw him in the middle of New York, and he's basically Batman. Like they don't link him to anything. I like a middle of the road thing where he's still a superhero, but we get to see him be the king and all that crap. I just don't want to see 20 pages of meetings about a civil war, which is what I didn't like about the Coach run. But that works when the next issue I can go right to, and in that one we're seeing the aftermath of the political debate.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, it's like having banked a season of Game of Thrones. Like,
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
jump
Yeah.
right.
Game of Thrones sucks and you watch it episode by episode. I love that show, I do. But if you watch that weekly, you don't know what the fuck is going on.
No,
Half the time I forget people's names.
Who's that again? What house is he in?
You know, brown hair. You know, the brown-haired guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The son that hasn't died yet.
Right.
The one who
Like
chopped the
it's-
penis off, right?
Oh, that
Okay,
guy.
but no. Okay, here's the funny thing. I didn't realize this until recently. I was watching. Actually, it was Jonathan Mayberry who did Do More. I was looking at Django Unchained, and apparently Reginald Hudlin was involved in that movie.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, I did not know
That's
that.
right. I've never seen
Rob,
his
you
name.
owe
being like,
Sarah
what?
a splooge. He's 2 months in a row.
Oh, he's 2 months. 2 months in a row.
oh, jeez.
He gets 2 months in a row worth of splooge.
And on that note, I think it's time maybe we move on because we're way off topic.
Yes.
For the record, I just
Yeah,
want
we are.
everyone to know how the Weekly Pulse Tangents works. This started as a Zack Snyder discussion.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah,
It surely did.
and then we talked about Do More.
Okay, so let's move on to the other big topic, the one that everyone's asking us about. It's a combo of a couple things that have come out over the last week. I loved Rob's reaction when he read it, and he was a few days behind. And Rob's like, "Did you all miss this?" First off, Jurgens is going to be ending his run on Action. Tomasi is going to be ending his run on Superman. Bendis is doing both.
Yes.
Okay. This is bittersweet to me because I love what Jurgens and Tomasi have done.
Yes.
I love the work they've done, but at the same time, I'm really kind of excited to see what Bendis can do with Action Comics and Superman.
You know what? I will say, I think it's wise to give him both. Because that man can only hold a continuity together when it's his.
Yeah, that's true. Like, look at his X-Men run for that matter. Where it's like, yeah, Uncanny and All New, they're going to have completely different stories and completely different... Oh, no, I fused them together now. I don't know which one I'm writing by the end.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm excited. I like Bendis' work. Yes, he's got some duds, but yes, he's got some great ones. But even the best writers in comics have duds and great ones.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, nobody walks away without duds. That's just how
No
it
one
is.
bats
Even
100.
my favorite writer in comics right now, Snyder and Taylor, they've got duds out there. Trust me, I've read them because you're like, I love this writer. I don't like this book.
Oh, yeah. Big time.
I am optimistic, if slightly cautious, because you hear about all this other stuff he's doing on top of taking over both the Superman books, where it's like, oh, I'm helping develop a movie, and I'm starting a new imprint for all my creator-owned work, and also, I almost died recently, so I had a brush with death.
Yeah. As long as Bendis doesn't do a story where Superman's dying, because I've read 1,000 stories like that, I'll be fine. I mean, like Bendis is a good writer when he's ready and when he's like hungry and when he's excited. Like, you know, say what you will about Bendis's missteps and lousy runs, but like Ultimate Spider-Man 1 to 165 or whatever is still an uninterrupted success. Like even the most boring runs are still solid, great fun, and true to character stories. Now that said, he made up that character, he made up that universe, he created all those people, so he can make them do whatever he wants. But you know, they are based off of pre-existing characters. I think that he could do worse than starting with Superman, because Superman has so many like archetypal characters. You know who Lois Lane is. You know who Superman is. You know what kind of character Perry White is. As long as he plays with those characters and stays true to the core of who they are, he can take liberties with some of them and mess around with them a little bit, and it won't be nearly as offensive as like him taking a team he doesn't understand in any way and just trying to start it over from scratch, a la Guardians of the Galaxy. It's just like. I trust Bendis, and especially because we're at the ground floor, we've never seen Bendis do anything like this before.
True.
So let's see how it goes. Let's see where.
I will say this with Superman, I would say Superman's one of the safest bets if you're going to give Bendis one of the biggest titles in DC Comics.
Yeah.
I would say
Batman's continuity is all over the freaking place.
Batman's continuity is all. It's just everything.
Right, but Superman's
okay.
like been fixed recently, and with what happened in Rebirth, you can literally be like, Bendis can write anything, and it's in continuity, no problems. You know, as long as Bendis doesn't ignore the last 40 issues, that's all he has to keep track of.
It's literally just like literally Jeff Johns has to come to his house and go like, it's these books and Secret Origin.
Read them, memorize them.
That's all you need, because like I'm Jeff Johns. The only origin we're going to use is the one I wrote. So like,
because I kind of run this thing now.
So you know, those are going to be it. Like, and literally, it's just like it's 6 books. Enjoy, and he did. And he read, and of course I guarantee you. By the way, he is going to have a Doom Quest. Because whenever Bendis took over for Iron Man or did anything Iron Man related, it always came back to that time. Iron Man went back in time to King Arthur with Doctor Doom. He read Doom Quest. There's got to be a book that he's gonna do that's his Doom Quest. And I'm tossing out there. It's For the Man Who Was Everything. It's the Mongol Black Mercy story by Alan Moore. There's always gonna be one story that he goes back and he refers to 1,000 times or tries to transcend in some way. I guarantee you. And so keep your eyes peeled for it, because you know it's going to come up.
I got him.
Rob, there's a splooge in there, but what do you think? Because we haven't heard your opinion on this.
Yeah.
That's because guys won't shut the hell up. No. I mean,
Rob, first you have to splooge our sub, ham and cheese.
Yeah, Rob, don't forget the splooge, man. Come on.
Splooge everywhere, man.
Yeah.
Ham and cheese. Ham and cheese. I love ham and cheese.
Oh, jeez.
It's delicious. You know what else? You know what else is delicious?
Oh, come on. It's that thought.
You gotta go with it now, man.
Oh, you know what else is delicious? Splooge.
Some say it's an acquired taste.
Recently, Rob has like jumped the shark on the splooging. Remember when Rob had to splooge himself? I mean,
Yeah. Yeah, I had to splooge myself. Yeah. Anyway,
actually, real quick, Rob, we have another splooge. Cape Joel has just been given a gift.
Cape Joel.
That's my name.
Splooge. So, so with Bendis, okay, I'm really excited about the whole Bendis thing. I mean, like, okay, I always tell people if you ever want like at least for me anyway, really good Brian Michael Bendis, read New Avengers. Guy wrote it for 7 years.
Totally.
All right, guy wrote it for, and it was amazing how the whole thing got done. And I love Bendis. I think Bendis is better at ensemble books than he is at like solo books. Yeah, he really does team dynamics really good. But that's why I think like Superman in Action Comics works, because he can focus on like the Superman family in action, and then like the relationship between Superman and Jonathan in the Superman series, and that I think works really, really well. Like I said, I'm as excited about it as anybody else is. I might say I'm a little cautious. I would say that if this was Bendis's like 5th or 6th book, like run that he'd been doing for DC, but this is Bendis's like inaugural outing at DC Comics, so I have no doubt he's gonna smash it out of the park. Because I mean, he's going like this is the first time he's going to write. He's gonna this is not the first time he wrote for DC. I don't think, is it? First time he wrote for DC.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I wouldn't say he's done like a mini series or like a graphic novel or something like that.
No, it's not like Dan Slott who did like an Arkham book. I think this is the first DC book.
Okay.
Yeah, so as far as I know, this is the first one. I can't think of another thing he did before this.
It's the first thing of DC he's doing of any real measure, and we can say that. And like all eyes are going to be on Bendis. Like when Superman in Action Comics hit, and he's the one writing it, all eyes are going to be on him, and they're going to be like, because this will make or break his ability to like be successful in terms of the eyes of fans of can he write Superman. You know, like the first story arc is the only story arc you get when it's like the inaugural run for any like a writer. So fans are not forgiving.
Oh no,
they are. We are rough.
It's indicative, I think, of the faith that DC has him to be like, don't just take Superman, take both the Superman books, which have been doing great right now. I would say we're probably in one of the finest eras in Superman stories we've ever been in. Some might say that's fixing what's not broken, but he must have had a hell of an elevator pitch if they're giving him both Superman.
See, I wanted to ask you guys' opinion on this, because we've all speculated what made him leave Marvel, right? And the news that just came out literally 2 hours ago that he's going to be making the Kitty Pryde movie with Fox Studios. We'll talk about that in a second. I'm pretty sure Rob totally doesn't even know about that thing existing. So the theory is right now is that he left Marvel because Fox gave him a deal to make the X-Men movies. So apparently he is currently, I don't know how much of a rumor mill this is, he is signed on to make a Deadpool sequel and to write the sequel and to write the Kitty Pryde movie finally.
Hold on. So Fox got him to leave Marvel to make a movie based on a Marvel character.
Yes.
Right, but you got to remember, Marvel didn't have the rights to X-Men, so he couldn't do the X-Men movies.
Yeah.
But now what I'm wondering is the final nail in the coffin to get him to leave was that DC then going, you can have anyone, and he picks Superman. Because remember, we were speculating what they were giving him. They had to give him something.
I think it was more that DC, that in the midst of Marvel's whole situation, DC was like, you know what? Like, I smell opportunity. And I think DC came knocking on the door of Bendis and was like, so what would it take to get you to leave Marvel Comics and write for us? You know, and if Bendis, having been there for so long, is just kind of like, I can come and go as I please. Like, with him having probably no exclusivity contract, I could see him coming along and just saying, like, give me Superman, like, or Batman, and I'll leave. And they're like, well, you ain't getting Batman. You can have Superman.
I just linked one of the articles. All of the bullshit news sites, the ones that just grab every rumor and run with it, those are the only ones talking about it right now, so I don't know the validity of this. Like, I just linked you Polygon. Take that for what you want.
It's true, though. Like, man, here's the thing. Bendis' Deadpool and Kitty Pryde are the worst versions of those characters. So him doing a movie version in the worst time for those franchises is like, Deadpool's already doing great, so like him taking over a Deadpool movie is a horrible idea. And then him doing Kitty Pryde is just like, first of all, that movie shouldn't even exist. Secondly, him writing it would make it even worse. So no. Also, Disney might own it, so what the fuck is that all about?
Now, hold on. If this deal with Disney, because for guys who don't know, the Disney deal is not all the way through, and I guess somebody else came in with a better offer, so it's not finalized yet.
Yeah, Comcast overshot it.
Yeah. So let's say it does go through, though. Do you think that Bendis will take this opportunity to take Peter Quill, Chris Pratt, put him in the Kitty Pryde movie, and get that going? Rob, what is your opinion on the Kitty Pryde?
I think it's a fucking terrible idea. At no point has Kitty Pryde ever been relevant. She's leading the X-Men team right now, and she's still not relevant. Like Kitty Pryde has she's never mattered. The only significant moment she ever had was like Days of Future Past, and it was like, oh hey guys, I'm here to stop the end of the world in the future. Like I've never cared about Kitty Pryde. I've never had an interest in Kitty Pryde at all. I think there are far more interesting characters. I'd rather see like a solo Colossus movie. I'd rather see a solo Storm movie. Like I'd rather see a solo
Storm
Rogue movie. Yeah, like a Rogue movie, explain like the whole origin of Anna Marie. Like I would want to see all that. There are so many other interesting characters out there besides Kitty Pryde.
But Kitty Pryde
she's getting married,
cool
Rob,
and young and trendy and hip and.
Yeah, no.
She's been cool and young and trendy for like 30 years.
Yeah. No, I think it's. I have no idea why they would go in that direction. I think it kind of falls in line with the idea that Fox is just like, shit, we don't know. Like, is it a mutant? Make a movie out of it. Shit, who cares? And if it sells, we'll make more. And if it doesn't, we'll just move on to the next one. Like, just assembly line mutant movies and just kind of throw them out there.
I wonder if Fox just has a guy that sits there and Googles mutants, and whatever names come up, he's like,
the first one.
Let's make a movie about that one.
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey, multiple man. Hey, can we get James Franco attached to this?
Yeah. No, I guarantee it was one of those things where they were trying to find a way to make a mutant movie, and they were like, well, like Kitty Pryde was really popular in like the other X-Men movies because she was played by that one chick that nobody will hire anymore. So like, yeah. So like, we'll grab her. Like, we'll do a movie on her. It's like Gambit. That movie's never going to get made.
It's not.
Gambit's never going to happen. Yeah, it's never going to happen. Like they lost directors. Like Channing Tatum was the only one who was tied on. He's the only one who's like, I really, really want to play Gambit. And it's like, yeah, but like nobody wants to see you play Gambit.
Right, like you don't look or sound anything like Gambit, and you're a bad actor. So like, what the fuck?
I don't know if he's a bad. I wouldn't say he's a bad actor, but I would say like.
Did you see Hateful Eight?
Oh yeah.
Dude,
Channing Tatum has moments, but he's not good enough to hold a movie.
Channing Tatum is the best at playing Channing Tatum.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like he was good in G.I. Joe.
And in the 21 Jump Street.
That's your saving grace.
And 21 Jump Street. Yeah, dude, it's a Hail Mary pass. G.I. Joe.
I'll give you 21 Jump Street. I'll give you that.
He did better, and he was better in G.I. Joe 2 when he died in the first few seconds.
Wow, Sal.
Bringing the heat today.
Worthless.
Well, G.I. Joe 2 is actually like, oh, I don't give a shit. Also, get rid of Snake Eye's lips. Okay, it's better.
It's better.
By the way, just a really quick tangent. When are they just going to make G.I. Joe Transformers a movie? Just make that movie.
Well, they've rebooted Transformers like 3 times. So, I mean, at one point, might as well throw them in there.
Just put the Transformers and the G.I. Joe together and land them on Thundera and then go, I've run out of ideas.
Put the Toads in there too.
Dude, it would actually be really cool. Like we could get a whole set of events where like the G.I. Joes die and they get to go to Transformer Heaven and talk to the Transformers in heaven who were like, you have power to defeat.
And then they become Transformers themselves.
Right, the Allspark makes them Transformers, Rob. And by the way, Rob, there's also a subscription here with AKA Chris.
Huh. AKA Chris. Splooge. AKA Chris.
I feel like you're mentally making sure what you're about to say now makes sense.
That's exactly what it is. When I leap myself down the primrose path of saying that splooge is delicious, I got to be a little more selective about what I say.
Why did Rooster Teeth cut the deal with Comic Store and Comics Explained? Well, Rob was telling people to eat his splooge.
I guess we'll never know.
Eat my splooge. It's delicious. No, that's not true.
So that's basically it, though. The Bendis deal, I was a little in shock of because, like you said, Rob, I was kind of like, or maybe Sal, but I was kind of like, but if Disney buys it, and his whole leaving Marvel was to get. Now they got it again.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I don't even think. Here's the thing. Disney bought Fox. Comcast made an offer, but the fact is, the deal was struck, and it's going through antitrust legal right now. Mm-hmm. In order for them to leave that situation, they have to burn money that they are already spending to get through the U.S. government's antitrust legal battle. So, the Comcast offer is them whipping out their dicks and trying to make everybody look at how big it is. So let's not even acknowledge Comcast and their offer. I think the Disney-Fox deal will go through, and operating on that assumption, because Fox is definitely operating under the assumption. We saw that Disney released their some details about their terrible streaming service that they're offering.
Oh, yes.
And how it's going to be, everything is going to be under R, like there's no R-rated stuff, because that's all going to be moved over to Hulu. Obviously,
What a weird
Fox-
decision.
yeah. It's a horrible decision. It's a
Couldn't
horrible
you just
idea.
parental advise? Like, punch in a password to get your R-rated content.
No, I mean it makes sense. I mean, if you're Disney, if I'm Disney and I have my own streaming service, I don't want people to directly associate me with R-rated content.
Right.
So that makes sense to move it over to like Hulu or something like that.
Yeah, but in order for them to be able to do that, they have to own Hulu, and Fox, I believe, owns Hulu, and so that's part of like the acquisition deal. So like, if they are making plans with Hulu, they are making plans for using Fox Media. Mm-hmm. X-Men is part of that deal. Feige didn't even say, when he was asked about it, he said something like, "We're not even thinking about that. We got plans for the next 5 years. Let's not even worry about that." It's probably 4 or 5 years off.
It's 10 years before we'll see the X-Men or the Fantastic Four.
I think that'll be a little sooner than that.
I know what Rob's talking about.
Statement.
I would not put it past them to not wait the 10 years. Yes, wait the 10 years for the crossover. But I could see Disney start building up that other side, and they just don't, like, almost Netflix style, where they exist and they reference each other like obscurely, but the crossover doesn't happen till way down the road.
Exactly. Until they figured out how they're going to make that crossover happen.
Yes.
Until they figure out how to like incorporate the mutants into the universe. But Fox, I think it's already done deal. I think Disney owns Fox, and so I think that any property that Fox is developing right now, like anything that's shot, New Mutants, Deadpool 2, that Phoenix movie no one's going to go see.
Oh yeah, that one.
Those movies are done. Those will come out. Those will have Blu-ray releases. The money will be spent on, like, there'll be press tours and posters and garbage all put out for those movies, no question. But after that, I think any project they talk about, Multiple Man, Kitty Pryde, what's another one? X-Force. No.
X-Force.
And even Gambit, like, all of it's thrown off the table. I think that everything's on freeze, and I think that them even talking about the Kitty Pryde movie is frustrating, because it's like, stop. What are you doing?
Stop.
Number one, even if you were never going to make a deal with Disney, you're never going to make that Kitty Pryde movie. Like, we're not talking about Sony, who will make anything. This is Fox, who, like, has metrics and like, you know what I mean? Like, they can't even get that Gambit movie off the ground, and people know who Gambit is. Kitty Pryde they recast her 4 times in as many X-Men movies.
Sure
That's
did.
true.
She's played by a nobody in X-Men 1. She's played by another nobody in X-Men 2. And then in X-Men 3, they got Ellen Page.
I was going to say, Ellen Page, that was it. Do you think Ellen Page would come back to play her?
No,
she's got better shit to do.
Why not? Ellen Page would be great as Kitty Pryde again.
She was fine in the worst X-Men movie made yet, but like...
Could you imagine her coming back acting like Juno? Hi.
She did come back.
I'm
She
Kitty
came back in
Pryde.
Days of Future Past. She was in that one.
But only in certain cuts.
But all she did was do this for 2 hours. Like, so, it wasn't like they asked her for anything. Like, anyway, my point is, the main point, that Kitty Pryde movie ain't gonna happen. And Bendis being attached to it, I think, is rumor. I don't even think it's real. I honestly, I don't think it's real.
I still would have loved to have been a fly on the wall, though, when Brian Michael Bendis comes in. Oh, boy, can't wait to start work on the Kitty Pryde movie. Then the chair swivels around. Hello, Brian. Hello again.
It's Joe Quesada!
Yeah.
You thought you could escape? You can never escape.
Yeah. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's I mean, I definitely see Disney going that route where it's like, if it's not a movie that we're making and it's not one that's already popular, then it's not getting done. Yeah. And that kind of begs the question. I don't know. I mean, with stuff that's already out there, like franchises that are being built, like how do you roll Deadpool over into that whole thing? How do you roll Cable into that whole thing? I'm sure there's ways to do it. I mean, if I sit down long enough, I can think of a way to do it. I mean, there's a lot of ways to make it happen, but I don't know. I mean, either way, I don't understand the motivation that would go into creating a Kitty Pryde movie. I don't understand that. Like, I don't grasp that. I mean, it's not like she's a character that people, like, everybody knows of and is interested in.
She didn't get popular at all. Like, wasn't she big in X-Men Evolution?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, she was alright. She was pretty good in that.
Max, buddy.
Oh, Max! No, I'm just saying.
Doug,
I'm
yeah.
agreeing with you, Rob. I'm just saying. I think she was in Evolution, but I think that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it is kind of weird, but no, I have a feeling that like, I would say the idea of being able to create a Kitty Pryde movie, that would be, I think that's the thing that was just kind of there. I think it's people that are kind of correlating two things that are totally separated from each other. I think it was really just kind of DC going to Bendis and saying, hey, look, are you very happy at Marvel? And I think Bendis was just like, shit, no. And then it's like, okay, well, then what would it take to get you to come over to DC? And it was, we'll give you Superman, and he's going to write Superman Action Comics, and that's really about it. Or maybe he's the one that approached them. I don't really know. But
I think they're all
I'll
friends.
say this,
They probably
knowing
all
what I
know
know
each
from
other.
business. If he approached them, that was ballsy.
Oh, yeah.
That
I'm sure it was.
ballsy. Because we
Yeah.
don't. I mean, we don't work directly with Marvel and DC, but I have enough contacts with the big two that I do know they all talk a
Of
lot.
course
Yeah.
they do.
I've gotten
It's a
phone
circle.
calls about things that I've done like in left field, and I'll get a phone call like, "Hey Benny, what's going on with you?" And I'm like, "How? What, you're not even. How did that even happen?"
yeah. How do you know that? Yeah.
If it was, Bendis is the one with big enough balls to be able to do that. Like, Bendis could go and be like, hey, Jeff, I want to take over Superman. Like, just to see what they would say.
Well, no, I mean, when you're a writer and you've got a portfolio that spans almost 20 years and is filled with dozens and dozens and dozens of comic books, not to mention runs that span anywhere between 7 to 10 years, like, you kind of have clout.
Well,
like, you made a bit. It's like Scott Snyder, just like saying, I'm going to go over to Marvel and see if I can write something.
Yeah.
Of course they're going to take him on. Why wouldn't
I
they?
want Avengers. Done.
Yeah.
All of them. All the books.
Dude, I would read the hell out of Scott Snyder's Avengers.
Same.
Yeah.
But, like, no, I mean, Bendis doesn't even have to reference the comics. He has to go, hey, remember that movie Avengers? I invented 4 of those characters.
Yeah.
Hey, you know that show Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., the one that won't get canceled? I created the main character. Hey, like, everything that you like about the Avengers, I made them relevant again.
Yeah,
Well,
he did.
Like,
The Ultimate Universe they
forget-
keep cherry picking?
yeah, you know that whole Spider-Man Homecoming movie? Mine. And I didn't even know they were going to do that. That was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. Because I remember in either a tweet or an interview, he said something like, "I saw Genki on the screen. I went, what the fuck is this?" And I was like, when he found out they were going to put Genki in a movie, they were going to call him somebody else that they intrinsically owned, so they didn't have to pay him royalties. I guarantee you that was the day he left.
Yeah.
I
could
didn't
see
even
him- I could
think
see
of
him
that,
doing
but
that.
I could see that. Yeah.
Yeah. When they're like,
Where
we
it's
don't want to have to
why
pay him
is
royalties.
Genki in this movie?
Because
Yeah.
it was legit Genki too. It wasn't even like
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no,
Oh,
it wasn't a spin-off character. It wasn't like
No,
the main
no.
Marvel Universe equivalent. Like that was Genki, man.
Hey,
It was
hey,
Genki.
Genki.
every way.
Called him a character that Marvel can argue every day until the cows come home that they own.
Oh,
And
it's
Bendis
Ned
said,
Leeds.
because Ned Leeds has been dead for 25, 30 years.
Yeah.
35
Yeah.
years? Maybe 35 years. I don't know.
Okay. Speaking of Ned Leeds, apparently in the new Spider-Man 42 annual that comes out this week, they're doing a story about Ned Leeds.
Oh.
Yeah,
Come back to
okay.
Singapore.
well,
There's nothing
Marvel's
exciting
running out
about
of
Spider-Man
ideas.
at all.
I don't think he's coming back from the dead, but I think the deal is like Peter finds like an old recording that he did before he died, and it's like sends him on a whole like quest across New York.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Wow,
Speaking
who's writing?
of Spider-Man topics, let me just bring up something. I want to see what your guys' opinion are. Did you see the new Venom suit design? The one that came in the latest issue?
No.
Oh,
No.
he conveniently looks like Tom Hardy in a suit.
Why would they do that?
He is less bulky, looks like a person in a suit, and now the Venom suit has eyes on the eyes.
They did that
Guys.
with the Matt Gargan suit too. That's
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like the Matt Gargan suit. That's what it looks like.
damn.
I can understand changing your comic characters to look like the movie and TV show equivalent when they're good. I can
Yeah.
understand making the
Well, when
Punisher
you have-
look like Bernthal, but come on.
When you get $1 for it, but like Marvel gets nothing for this Venom movie.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I didn't even think about it. I tweeted out, like, I don't like the new Venom design because I did it with my review. And I got a response of, oh, it looks like the one from the movie. And I'm like, oh, shit, it does.
That Venom movie's gonna make 12.
I'm going to see if I can pull up my Guyzo and get it back up.
Yeah, because that
And
movie.
yet-
Yeah. I haven't seen it.
here's the thing. Sony needs to die and stop with the Spider-Man stuff. But, like, why is it that Marvel will cancel X-Men books to spite Marvel or to spite Fox, but they'll change Venom to look like the stupid Tom Hardy character in a movie that they don't benefit from? Like, it's 6 and 1, guys.
Because he's a lethal protector. That's why.
So dumb.
I don't know. I mean, I
get it.
tweeted
God damn
out.
it.
I tweeted out. I was like, man,
I'll get
I was
my
like,
tweet
Tom
for it.
Hardy.
Yeah.
I was like, Tom Hardy is the only reason I'm going to go see the Venom movie. Like, if anybody
No,
else,
your job
I
is the only
wouldn't
reason we're
go
going to
see
see
it.
the Venom movie.
Yeah, I gotta feel. Yeah, Rob, you're gonna see it no matter who's in it. You'll just hate it more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can write this off on my taxes that this was a business expense.
Yeah.
I'm seeing this movie
Here you go.
a
Here was my
week
tweet.
later.
I'm linking it
on
in
a
the chat
Sunday.
of the thing. I have the image attached to the tweet. So
Oh, nice.
the eyeballs don't show up in that image, but if you read the comic, there's eyeballs in the eyeballs.
Oh, that sucks. Because, like, the suit, from afar, it looks like pretty much the main suit. It's just that he has, like, yeah, all right. Let me look at these eyes here.
I'll see if I can pull up the issue and just do like another guyzo of it. Hold on.
Yeah.
Because it was the eyes that made me be like, what is that?
Yeah.
That is like, because at first I was like, oh, they just debulked the suit. And I didn't really think, because like, you guys know I'm a Venom fan. I boycotted this Venom run until they brought back Flash Thompson. When they gave me an answer, I bought the book again.
Same.
Right.
Same.
That's all I wanted. I just wanted closure on what happened to Flash.
Absolutely.
You know what? That's also weird. The Venom logo, like the spider image, like it should be like it looks like it's a straight line from the legs down, which it is straight up not. Like it looks like it's almost like a T.
Here you go. I got the image of the face.
Be sure to share with the rest of the class.
And him crouching, so you can see how like it's more humanoid, more like a black spider suit.
Oh.
Cool.
There you go.
All right, here we go.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that sucks.
See, that's what I'm talking about. Like, what is?
I mean,
that?
I don't know if I'd say it sucks, but it looks kind of weird.
It's different for no damn good reason whatsoever.
That's
I'm
called
Sal,
a
and I
lateral
hate
move.
things that are different.
You know,
I
anyone can
hate
do that when
change.
you disagree with them. That's the fun part of it.
Yeah, Rob always does that when they disagree. I've noticed that too.
That's yeah.
See,
I'm
the trick is to
Sal,
not
and I
make a
hate
lateral
change.
move.
I'm Rob, and I like everything.
Yeah,
That is,
I'm Rob, and I'm a happy person.
yeah.
Not a miserable person. I like
I'm Rob, and
things.
if you disagree with me, you are wrong.
Then you must be
and that is
miserable.
it.
You must be
Hate life
miserable.
if you think things that suck.
Oh, Sal.
This is fun.
It sucks though.
This is fun, friends. Okay, you know
doesn't-
what?
it
I'm
doesn't-
gonna bring him another thing that I noticed in comics. This is gonna become a new segment of the weekly poll. Shit that Benny noticed in comics this week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, hey, look, you thought you wouldn't notice, but we did.
So two things. One, Power Girl's back. Apparently, as Rob even told
Yes.
me, they're hinting at it in Deathstroke.
Yes.
well,
No,
I
no,
never
no.
knew it was a
She
misprint.
came back in Deathstroke.
Yes, she did.
according to the fan base, she's not back yet. That's what they all.
She's
Well,
still wrapped
she's-
between
she's
dimensions.
stuck between
I thought I
dimensions,
saw a
yeah.
tweet that said that the artist didn't know that the artist was allowed to draw whatever he wanted, and he accidentally and like they were like, "That's not don't put like you screwed up. Power
Well,
Girl's
she
not."
was in
How did
Green
they get
Lantern,
past the
too.
editors and
Yeah,
everything?
look, I just linked the image in the chat. And not
Yeah.
only that, but they also shrank her boobs. Like, what? If you're gonna do Power Girls, just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, don't shrink the boobs of Power Girl. That's not okay.
No, wait, are we talking about Deathstroke or
problem.
Green Lanterns? Because I heard she appeared in both. She's part of the story in Deathstroke, but she appears in the background.
Yeah, she's a
of Green Lantern.
cameo. Well, the Green Lantern's plot is all the C and D listers of the DC universe going missing.
Right.
So the Green Lantern's
Right.
going to hunt it down.
Oh, the Inhuman trafficking story? Is that
Yeah.
what that is? Yeah.
It started out okay. Nothing huge yet. Like I'm not
I
like,
haven't,
"Yes!"
yeah, I haven't read. Oh, dude, have you guys been reading People versus Justice League?
Yes.
No.
More
Okay.
Christopher Priest.
Dude, it is so cool. But, okay, for those of you guys out there in Twitch land, the coolest thing about this story is that it basically answers the question, what happens when the fact that Batman is leading, like, the Bat family in Detective Comics, and he's got his own events in his solo series, and he's in Trinity, and he's in the,
They
just
bring
Sigma
all that
Mix-
up.
Yeah, like, what happens when, like, all that, and he's running on, like, 3 hours of sleep, and then Batman screws up.
Yeah, he gets
Like,
tired and he fucks
Yeah,
up.
he gets tired and he screws up. Dude, it's so cool. It's pretty damn good. Like, I really enjoy it. But,
Nice.
But yeah, no, I mean, I'm kind of excited about Power Girl coming back. It seems like it'd be so weird if they were, I understand because you have the Power Girl, the new Power Girl in Deathstroke, but I think if they were going to bring back like Earth 2 Kara Zor-El, then like they would do it in like a Superman book or like a
you would
Supergirl
think.
book.
What a weird place to do it.
Because okay, her coming back is a problem on a lot of levels. One, we don't have a proper Earth 2 for her to originally come from. Two, we have the other Kara Zor-El who went to Earth 2, had character development, took the shield, and that book ended. So
but well, I think they're going to take all that Earth 2, and I think they're going to sweep that under the rug, and that's all just going to kind of go away.
Which is a shame, because I liked that book.
No, the book was great, but I will say this. The book did end in a good place. You can just, that happened, it's over, move on. Like, you can do that and be fine.
I mean, we know that because we have, like, actual Jay Garrick now.
Yeah.
Like, he's stuck in the Speed Force, but we've got Johnny Thunder. Like, we have all these characters that go way back, you know, that are part of the Earth 2 line or were part of the Earth 2 line, and, like, are still kind of free-floating there. The only ones we don't have right now are, like, Alan Scott, different people like that. Like, we don't know where he is in Rebirth, so... But, I mean, he'll probably come back in, like, the Green Lanterns or Hal Jordan, the Green Lantern Corps.
Oh, yeah.
Likely.
But what I'm saying is bringing her back is a problem because you can say Jay Garrick is here's the question. Do you think that they are going to bring back the original Earth 2? Or do you think that we're going to bring back the versions that were a part of this world and not from a separate multiverse?
I think they're going to go... I think they're going to do the pre-Infinite Crisis, where they're going to say that, like all those Golden Age superheroes, they fought during the 40s and 50s, and they retired by the time Superman showed up and Batman showed up and Wonder Woman and all that kind of stuff, and they were just they sort of just let those new age of superheroes be the main superheroes. Like, I think it'd be the best way for them to go. It'd be cool. I mean, the biggest issue that some people might have is, well, how do you reconcile that with the fact that they haven't been referenced before? Well, you do the same thing they did back in 1993 or 94, whenever it was. And you're just kind of like, they've been retired. There was no reason to reference them.
Why would you? Who talks about the heroes of the 50s? Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like Smallville brought out the Justice Society, and you're just kind of like, no one ever even heard of these guys? No. The guy dressed like a hawk, just oblivion.
He warranted no pictures and no news coverage.
Yeah. I mean, they could bring back like the original Earth 2. I mean, they're going all the way back to even like grabbing some things from before Crisis on Infinite Earths. So like the whole DC landscape is open for grabs. So I could see them doing that, going all the way back to like the old Earth 2, you know, back in the day. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of things that they could do. But.
Right.
They could do anything, and anything that any option is exciting.
Yeah. Because it's interesting to see how they're going to fit it in. Like they brought Hunter Zolomon back in the Flash Annual.
Wait.
That was crazy as hell.
I kind of remember what you're talking about.
Yeah. He sent the Renegades from the 25th century back to the modern day after the events of Running Scared.
Oh, it's because of the whole Wally West thing, right? And we're gonna find out. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So I was like, man, it's pretty wild. Like, I mean, it's cool. They're grabbing a lot of that stuff, and for me, it's exciting because I'm discovering all this stuff for the first time for the most part, and so it's really, really cool.
Yeah.
Like it's really enjoyable.
Okay, so then let me go to the question because I actually want to ask your guys' opinions on something that Dylan and I debated upon that image. Okay, so Dylan was upset because he's a huge fan of Power Girl, and they're getting rid of the development of the character that they gave her to, and I'm fine, whatever. You're getting rid of that book line, but I said the problem with that image is she doesn't have the large breasts, and he goes, I'm fine with her not having the comically large breasts because she's more about that. So his argument was that she should be able to stand on her own. He agreed on one of the points I made, but that she should be able to agree on her own. She is a good character and go on that. And I told him, I agree she doesn't need the comically large breasts, but the problem is if she didn't have them, she wouldn't be a character.
Power Girl's the whole reason she survived the original Purge.
Boobs. Look at that costume in that image I linked with her having reasonably sized breasts, and she's just a woman in a white leotard.
Okay,
Huntress and Power Girl originally survived the whole Earth 2 purge because artists like drawing pretty ladies.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
I mean, let's take a poll. Like, you guys on Twitch, which ones do you guys want? The classic Power Girl?
I'm gonna straw poll that. Hold on.
Newer version. Yeah, this newer version of Power Girl. Yeah, we'll just do a straw poll. And
because they did. Remember when New 52 when they brought her back and they put her in like a no boob window costume and like people freaked out because they were like, "What are we doing? I want to see the boobs."
Yeah,
I can't splooge to this. They said.
Exactly.
And you know that's what they said.
Now, as I recall, like the Power Girl boob thing originated from kind of like a joke between artists where each artist or the artist who was drawing her at a certain time drew her with kind of like big boobs, and it got through the censor / like editor, And so, like, it was kind of a test to see, like, how big they could draw them in the next run. So, like, they drew them a little bigger the next time, and then the next time, and then until it got to the point where some editor went like, "Oh, whoa, these are huge!"
Wow.
And they went like, "Oh no, well, you should look like 2 issues ago when they were ridiculous."
Dude, I believe that. I believe that.
I mean, I hate to say it. The fact is, it became a joke for the character. Like, where's your symbol? Oh, I forgot to get one in that day. You know, like, they would joke about them and stuff like that. And I feel like, yes, the character shouldn't be about that, but it wasn't the primary focus of the character. It was enough to draw you into the character, and then you're like, oh, this is kind of a cool character.
There's actually
her boobs are huge. But
that's the way it always was. Like go back and look at like 1960s Carol Danvers. Like, she was designed to be like an attractive object for young guys. And then the idea was the story will hold its own merit. But like, there was a reason why like Susan Storm got the 4 boob.
Yeah, but they got rid of that real fast.
They got rid of that quick.
Real quick,
No,
Rob. Ever since we started talking about boobs, we've gained 3 subscribers. So, Rob,
Is there a correlation?
A direct correlation. Wow. 3 subs. Well, splooge. We're not going to do that.
What's that? That's the sound of YouTube demonetizing this video?
That's exactly what that is.
so the point that Dylan brought up and I discussed, and he agreed with me, that the problem is her character design is very basic. It's a girl in a white leotard. None of the colors pop. There's nothing that says that she's another version of Supergirl. He said it's a problem with her design, but I told him it's not, because it sells the character. The character just needs something else, and then it wouldn't be Power Girl anyway. So
I always liked the boob window. I don't know if they necessarily need to be huge, but I do like the cut. And the reason why I like the boob window is not just because of superficial reasons. It's because I always liked, and I never really knew a lot about Power Girl as a character. I always liked the visual. I liked Amanda Connor's version of the character.
That version was great.
And part of the reason why I liked that character was because, like, she was this the origin of the boob window, the retconned origin of the boob window that I like the most is that, like, she had a super crest on it, and that in her, like, defiance and rejection of the symbol, she ripped it off of her chest, leaving a hole where the Superman logo was, and instead left nothing. And kind of like the reason, like, it became almost like a feminist icon because in the place of this image of, like, male power, which is the Superman logo, traditionally, not necessarily like when it's embodied by Supergirl, but what was a symbol of, like, Superman and being like a symbol of male strength, it was replaced by something distinctively feminine. Even if it was, like, exploitative and ogled by men, it's still like it's hers and she owned it. I always liked that idea. Although it is dicey and it's harder to explain, especially when you have, like, when you're trying to explain it to, like, the LA Times or, like, a non-comic book reader or even, like, a rabid comic book reader. When you're trying to explain that concept, it's like either they look at you with disdain, scorn, rejection, or a knowing, like, yeah, right, we're all telling each other that because we all want to look at big titties, right? Like, and so, like, objectively speaking, I always liked that idea. I don't know if I needed them to be huge. I like the reference. Like, there's a moment in A Kingdom Come where she's in the book for, like, 2 panels, but then at the end when they go to the planet Hollywood, but it's Planet Krypton, and they have all the dishes named after superheroes, what's it called? There's a chicken sandwich that's called the Power Girl, and someone says, like, what's the cut? And he says, oh, breast. And it's like, like, because that's what Mark Waid distilled Power Girl into being, like, a giant breasted chicken sandwich. I don't know, like, take that from what you will. If she is, like, just basically a bigger boobed Supergirl, I hope not. I like her to be, like, whenever I think of Power Girl, I think of her as a strong, distinctly feminine, like, character. And she owns the boobs, you know, and she doesn't exploit them. If that's the case, I say, make them whatever size you think they should be. But, you know.
You know who I always liked, and you know who actually had an interesting little kind of like Hail Mary pass around everything we're talking about right now? Justice League Unlimited, when they created Galatea, who was basically just Power Girl in everything but name, but also a clone, and also a little bit older and a little bit angrier and everything.
Yes. Yeah. I never liked that one because then it literally is just like she's an evil clone of Supergirl.
No. But no cape though. No cape though. They got around the cape problem.
They did. Well, they didn't. There's no hole, right? As I remember.
No, I don't think. I think it's just a pure white costume.
Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll take your word for it, man. I mean, I had to sit around for an hour and a half and study the character of Magenta to learn who she was.
Oh my God, Magenta!
Freaking evil Magneto with multiple personalities, who's a chick.
Thanks.
Like,
sometimes a Teen Titan, and sometimes a villain, and sometimes Wally West's girlfriend, and sometimes
and sometimes we don't know where to put her, so we're just gonna kind of stick her wherever.
They should have had Dr. Manhattan blow her up. That's what they did with Pandora. They just did anybody that we don't need.
Dude, I love how DC did that. Like, I love how DC sat down and it's like, all right, guys, we're into DC Rebirth. So, like, who do we not need anymore? Like, who can we get rid of? And it's like, well, I mean, we have, like, Pandora gone.
Dude, I actually, the concept of Pandora and the Trinity was great.
Yeah.
When they made a crossover that focused on that, I was so on board. And then they made it about the crime syndicate, and they're like, we're going to answer it in its own book. That won't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, thanks.
They blew up Pandora and they blew up the extra Tim Drake from Future's End, where it's like, okay, time to get rid of you now.
Yeah. They blew up Owlman.
Yeah.
Like, just
Yes.
Yeah. Now here's my question. Maybe I'm wrong about this, but as far as I'm aware, Ultraman and Superwoman are still on Earth unless they've been destroyed.
They
Something
are,
just
right?
happened
They
to them.
should be.
What just happened to them? They were just in something.
Oh.
Were they?
Optimistic.
Well, like in the last 6 months, like not like right now.
No, not like this
okay,
week,
okay.
but yeah.
Okay, I thought you were talking about like in the last couple of weeks. I'm like, okay, so like what? You know, but like as far as I'm aware, like they're still there. I mean, if you guys in the chat know, let us know because like I thought they were. Are they all dead?
Didn't they show up at the beginning of Metal? Like as one of the guys that were like, "Oh no!"
I don't think so. Maybe they did. Yeah, maybe they were in whatever super prison they were tucked away in. I could be wrong. It's been forever.
No, Superwoman didn't die in Darkseid War a boy.
I thought
she did not.
They were imprisoned. Like they were taken and thrown into a prison.
They were in prison. They were taken into, a prison. Anyway,
as it is sometimes known, to put it technically.
I'm trying to see if they got a listing of it.
Oh, by the way, okay, I just want to throw this out there. As excited as I was to see it, I feel like the return of Martian Manhunter was kind of underwhelming.
It felt very tacked on.
I'm back, everybody.
I feel like it was, well, we're going to use him later, but we don't want to do another origin story for another set the stage for Martian Manhunter because they did it like the last 4 series he's been in, and so they went like, hey Scott, can you put Martian Manhunter in Metal? He doesn't have to do anything like all the other characters, and he's like, yeah. So instead of like Hal getting the will to get the ring to work, even though he can't get his mind together, they just had Martian Manhunter go, I was on Thanagar the whole time. Hey,
it's kind of
There's too many
sad
different versions of Ultraman. God damn it!
It's kind of sad too when you stop and think about it that Martian Manhunter has so little of a personal life. Yeah, I can disappear for like a year and a half on Thanagar and be undercover.
Yeah, it's the saddest thing. It's like when Jessica Jones was Jewel and was kidnapped by the Purple Man. Like no one knew or cared.
That's Bendis though. He made it really tragic. It was really sad.
Dude, that shit worked, man. It was pretty messed up. Like I was a superhero and none of you knew who I was, and I vanished for 8 months and no one looked for me. And no one cared. And it's like, damn.
One of my friends was a member of your team, you freaking jerks.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, damn, that's rough, man.
This says that, I swear, I mean, maybe we're wrong. I swear he was around recently because he was, like, imprisoned. But everything says that at the end of Darkseid War, he got killed.
I don't... Hang on. Darkseid War. Maybe he did die.
Lots of things happened.
I know Superwoman didn't die.
Grail killed her recently, though.
Oh,
that was in the Wonder Woman book. That's where I saw that.
Oh, okay.
So they cleaned house there.
Yeah. Grail did kill Superwoman. Now it's all about Grail. Grail and Darkseid. Well, baby Darkseid, who's now big Darkseid, but whatever.
Yeah, isn't he not a baby anymore?
He's not a baby, and then he fought Zeus, and it was like, it was the weirdest thing ever. You're like, Zeus?
Dude, I'm actually kind of excited because, like, you have that story in Wonder Woman, then you have Imperious Lex, where, like, Apocalypse is just in total disarray in Civil War. And it's like, okay, so, like, when Apocalypse comes back, like, a lot of folks are probably going to die in this place. Like, it's going to be like a bloodbath. It's going to be pretty brutal.
That'll be awesome.
Yeah.
And run to Darkseid.
Dude, you've read Imperious Lex, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was, dude, I love that. Was,
are we allowed to discuss a spoiler that was released by the writer as to what's going to happen to Superman before they leave? Because that also
let's
came out
warn the
recently. I want to talk about that before we end the episode.
All right.
Okay, everyone in the chat, Dan Jurgens said what he's going to end Action Comics on. Okay? And it answers a big question we've all had. But if you do not want to know what was said in the interview, I guess it's not too big of a spoiler because he was allowed to say it. But I'm giving everyone a window if you want to go.
A part of me wants to know, but a part of me doesn't want to know.
Yeah, same, because I haven't heard about this.
I think it just came out today or something because I was just reading it. And so I was just reading it, and if it was a bullshit website with a bullshit thing, I apologize, okay? I don't even know where I read it at this point.
Is Dan Jurgens going to kill Superman again?
No, Dan Jurgens is going to kill Superman Lex. That's how he's going to end it.
No!
But
no!
Like, oh no, the old Lex is back or something?
Because it was a part of the Brian Michael Bendis interview, if I remember correctly. And they were saying how Tomasi and Jurgens are going to end. And Jurgens said, I'm killing Lex.
Well, that has to be death because he's in Justice League No Justice and he's in Doomsday Clock.
Yeah. That can't be right.
No, that can't be right. Because he's clearly in other things.
Maybe Dan Jurgens is like, my version is going to die.
Right.
I mean, I can see him
reverting two Lexes.
Well, I can see him reverting Lex back to being a villain.
Yes. I mean, if he makes him Lex before he leaves, that would make sense. His version.
Okay, I'll be honest. I do not want to see, dude. I've loved what happened with Lex Luthor. I love his character. Like Lex Luthor's like, okay, I want to be the best friend. Like I was a bad guy and I'm a villain. And then like Earth 3 shows up and they take over the world. And so now I'm going to create my own Justice League team. And then hey, being a good guy is not that bad. So then him and New 52 Superman become friends. And then New 52 Superman dies. And then Superman Reborn.
Superman.
Yeah. Like Superman Reborn's like, hey man, like if you're like the Lex Luthor from my world, which I'm gonna assume you are, you're a bad guy, so like fuck you. And Lex Luthor's like, no man, like I'm trying to be a good guy. Superman, like, and then Superman looks like an asshole, and then like Superman's the villain, you know, because like he's spying on him and all that kind of stuff. And then it turns into like the two of them have to work together, and the two of them kind of learn to trust each other, and then you learn to realize that like Lex Luthor is actually being a good guy. I do not want to see him go back to being a bad guy. Dan Jurgens, I'm not okay with this. All right. Do this. I will write you a strongly worded tweet. I will be
you'll get a change.org petition.
Yeah, you'll get a change.org petition.
I'm going to see if I can find the article so I can at least give validity to where it came from.
Oh, but that's the tragedy of it, Rob. He's trying to be good, but Superman, the best guy in the world, doesn't even believe him.
Dan Jurgens, if you do this, it's got to be tragic as fuck. Like, it has to be, like, the saddest thing ever. Like, he has to go back to being a bad guy. He doesn't want to, but he's like, I'm resigned to this fate. I will. He's got to be, like, the sad, mopey, angsty teenager that everybody hates. He's got to be, like, that guy for, like, a short time, and then just go back to being a villain.
Okay, so
like,
it was released as being what's gonna. Dan Jurgens and Tomasi are allowed to have 48-page finale issues before Bendis takes over, and it was revealed as to what's gonna happen in Jurgens' issue. It's literally titled "The Last Will and Testament of Lex Luthor."
Oh,
dude,
maybe he fakes his death.
Dude, honestly, I mean, if Dan Jurgens, dude, I could see that being Jurgens' swan song for Lex Luthor. Oh, dude, I really hope it turns out to be something amazing.
So on that note, I think we should bring this episode of the Weekly Pull to an end, considering we started a little bit early.
The saddest ending ever.
We're going to end this note on Rob being sad.
Dude, I love good guy. I love good guy Lex Luthor. Dude, I love this version of Lex.
It's great.
Oh, dude, it's so sad. He's going to go back to being a bad guy.
All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today for the Weekly Poll. I'm Benny, the comic historian. If this is your first time here, in the upper right-hand corner right over there, that is Joel from Caped Joel on YouTube. Right above me is Rob from Comics Explained, and right over there, in what appears to be a warehouse of cardboard cutouts from the angle that he's sitting at, is Sal of Comic Pop. What room are you in? Because last week you were in the room with the set.
Oh yeah, no, this is another set. It's over there.
Oh, okay.
I moved everything into a bigger room.
Gotcha.
But it's all in a corner because it's a small set.
So, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Don't forget you can find us all on Twitter, where we'll discuss whatever you want about comic books. We will be here in 2 weeks doing this once again. We talk about this stuff every other week. And Thursday morning, you will find a live discussion and R&B here. Sans Rob. It's going to be interesting. So
Yeah, I'll be back in Kentucky.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
In Kentucky. It's a weird decision. Yeah. Rob's the only guy that I'll ever know that will go, I'm traveling, not going anywhere. And then hit you up and go, I'm going to Kentucky. Right after that, we should go to Vegas. And then I want to go to Seattle, all within 3 weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
all right, guys, we will see you next
That's
time.
me.
Alan Scott.
Yeah, Alan Scott.
Yeah.
Booba.